Your engine oil smells like gasoline, and that's your engine screaming that something is wrong. Most drivers ignore this. They think it's normal. It's not. There are 7 stages to this problem. Stage 1 is a minor fix. Stage 7 means your engine has about 48 hours before it seizes. I'm walking you through every stage, how to spot each one, and the exact moment you need to stop driving. Stage 1 is when you pull your dipstick and catch a faint gasoline smell mixed in with the oil. This happens because small amounts of unburned fuel slip past your piston rings and drip down into the crankcase. If you're only making short trips, 5 or 10 minutes each way, your engine never reaches full operating temperature. It never gets hot enough to evaporate that extra fuel. So it builds up little by little, and nobody notices until the smell gets obvious. Here's what to do. Pull the dipstick when the engine is cold. Good oil smells earthy, slightly metallic. If you catch gasoline in there, note it. Check again in 500 miles. If the smell is stronger, you're already moving into stage 2. Can you still drive on it? Yes, but schedule an oil change within the next 1,000 miles. And here's the part most people miss. The oil change removes the bad oil, but it does not fix why fuel is getting in there. Skip the root cause, and it just comes right back. Cost at this stage is $40 to $70 doing it yourself, maybe $80 to $120 at a shop. Cheap. But stay with me, because stage 6 turns into a $4,000 problem. Now, stage 2 is a sign most people completely misread. Your oil level is going up instead of down. You haven't added a single drop, but it's sitting above the max line on the dipstick. That's gasoline mixing with your oil and increasing the total volume. Gasoline is thinner and less dense than motor oil, so your 5 quarts might now measure 5.5 or even 6, and that extra volume is pure fuel sitting in your crankcase. The test is simple. Check your oil level today. Mark exactly where it sits. Check again in 1 week. If it's risen, even slightly, and you haven't added oil, you have active fuel dilution happening right now. This usually points to leaking fuel injectors or a failing fuel pressure regulator. Can you drive? Yes, but get it diagnosed within 2 weeks. This is not a wait-and-see situation anymore. Injector cleaning runs $150 to $300. Injector replacement is $300 to $900 depending on your vehicle. Still manageable, but the price climbs fast from here. And stage 3 is where your engine actually starts paying the price. Stage 3 is where real damage begins. Your oil has gone thin, and thin oil means your engine is running without proper protection on every moving part inside. Healthy engine oil feels thick, like honey. When gasoline dilutes it by 5 to 10%, it thins out badly. Your oil might be rated 5W30, but diluted like this, it performs closer to 0W20 or worse. Your bearings, your camshaft, your lifters, none of them are getting the oil film they need to survive. Here's a test anyone can do at home. Drop 1 bead of oil from your dipstick onto a paper towel. Then drop fresh oil from the bottle right next to it. Good oil spreads slowly and holds its shape. Diluted oil bleeds out thin and fast, almost like water. The difference is obvious. At this stage, engines start ticking. That sound is metal touching metal where there should be a protective layer of oil between parts. Get an immediate oil change. Every mile on thin oil accelerates wear inside that engine. The oil change is $40 to $120. Wait on this, and you're looking at $800 to $1,500 for lifter or bearing work later. That's a bad trade, and it only gets worse from here. Stage 4 is usually when people finally pay attention because now you can feel it. Rough idle on cold starts. Your engine shakes, sputters, maybe misfires for the first 30 to 60 seconds after you turn the key. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. When your car sits overnight, leaking injectors drip raw fuel into the cylinders. That fuel washes the protective oil film right off your cylinder walls and drains straight down into the oil pan. By morning, your cylinders are dry and your oil is even more contaminated. A bad injector can leak 30 to 40 milliliters per hour while the engine is off. Park for 8 hours at work, and that adds up to over 300 milliliters. More than a cup of raw gasoline going straight into your oil every single night. The right test here is a fuel pressure hold test. Connect a fuel pressure gauge, shut off the engine, and record the pressure. Come back 8 hours later. Normal drop is 5 to 10 pounds per square inches. If it drops 20 pounds per square inches or more, your injectors are leaking. Most shops charge $50 to $80 for this. Get it repaired within 1 week. And here's the hidden damage nobody talks about. That fuel-rich mixture is also slowly destroying your catalytic converter, which is a $1,200 to $2,500 part all by itself. Injector replacement at this point runs $400 to $900 on a typical 4-cylinder. Fix it now, because Stage 5 brings smoke, and smoke brings expensive problems. Stage 5 is when white or blue smoke starts coming out your tailpipe. And once you see this, you are causing damage with every single mile. That smoke means your gas-contaminated thinned-out oil is slipping past worn valve seals and piston rings into the combustion chamber where it burns. At this point, fuel dilution is typically 15 to 20%. That is bad. Your rings are worn enough that compression is dropping, your engine is losing power, and you're fouling your spark plugs, O2 sensors, and catalytic converter all at the same time. The test you need is a compression test. Pull all spark plugs and test each cylinder. Healthy engines read 150 to 180 pounds per square inches with no more than 10% variation between cylinders. Below 120 pounds per square inches or more than 20% variation means you've got real wear. Then do a wet compression test by adding a small amount of oil to the cylinder and testing again. If compression jumps more than 10%, your rings are gone. Fix this within 3 to 5 days. Keep driving to an absolute minimum. Piston ring replacement runs $1,800 to $3,500 because the engine has to come apart. Compare that to Stage 2, where this same problem could have been stopped for under $400. See how fast the cost multiplies when you wait? Stage 6 is when your check engine light fires with multiple codes all at once. Not one code. 4, 5, 6 codes, stacking up together. Why so many? Because fuel dilution creates a chain reaction of failures. You'll see P300 for random misfires, P171 or P174 for lean fuel trim, P420 for catalytic converter efficiency dropping, maybe P14 for camshaft timing issues. That thin oil cannot hold pressure in your variable valve timing system. Your contaminated oil is poisoning your oxygen sensors. And the bad combustion is overwhelming your catalytic converter. With an OBD2 scanner that reads live data, check your fuel trim. Both short-term and long-term should sit between -10 and +10%. Check oil pressure too. It should read 20 to 40 pounds per square inches at idle, 40 to 70 pounds per square inches at 2,000 revolutions per minute. Multiple misfires plus bad fuel trim plus low oil pressure means severe dilution. Confirmed. Can you drive? Only to a repair shop. Stop daily driving this car. At Stage 6, you're looking at $1,500 to $5,000 depending on what's already damaged. Injectors, VVT components, O2 sensors, possibly the catalytic converter, plus all the internal wear from months of degraded oil. Every dollar of that was preventable. And Stage 7? Stage 7 is where engines die. This is the 48-hour warning I mentioned at the start. If you are here, you have one option. Stop driving or prepare to replace your entire engine. You hear a deep knocking or metallic rattling from low inside the engine. Not from the valve cover area, from down near the bottom end. And your car has noticeably lost power. That sound is your rod bearings and main bearings making direct metal-on-metal contact. Your oil is now 25 to 30% gasoline. It has almost zero lubricating ability left. Once bearing damage starts, it accelerates fast. You might have 48 hours. You might have 50 miles. But the clock is running, and it does not slow down. To confirm this, use an automotive stethoscope or just hold a long screwdriver flat against the engine block and press your ear to the handle. Deep, metallic knocking that gets louder with RPM is bearing failure. And it cannot be fixed without a full teardown. Do not drive another mile. Have your car towed. 15 miles on a failing bearing can turn a rebuild into a total loss. A spun rod bearing punches through the cylinder wall, destroys the block, and that engine becomes scrap metal. Engine rebuild runs $4,000 to $6,500. A remanufactured engine is $3,500 to $7,000, plus another $1,200 to $2,000 in labor. A used engine swap is $2,000 to $4,000 if you can find a good one. All of this started as something you could have caught at stage 1 for under $200. That is why this video exists. Before I wrap up, you need to know that certain vehicles are far more prone to fuel dilution than others. If you own one of these, check your oil every 1,000 miles without exception. Ford EcoBoost engines from 2011 to 2016 have a known fuel dilution issue during cold starts with their direct injection system. Hyundai and Kia GDI engines from 2011 to 2019 suffer from injector seals that degrade and leak over time. GM 5.3-liter V8 engines from 2014 to 2019 are notorious for injector O-ring failures. And older diesel engines, especially during DPF regeneration cycles when extra fuel gets injected into the system, if you own any of these, do not wait for symptoms. Stay ahead of it. And here's how you prevent this from ever becoming a problem in the first place. Stop making only short trips. If your daily drive is under 10 minutes, your engine never reaches full temperature to burn off excess fuel. Take the long route, at least once a week. Change your oil every 5,000 miles or 6 months, whichever hits first. Run a quality fuel injector cleaner every 3,000 miles to keep those injector seals tight. Check your oil level once a month. Catch a rising level early, before it catches you. And fix rough running immediately. Misfires and hard starts are your earliest red flags that something is going wrong inside. Prevention runs about $200 a year. Ignoring this runs $4,000 to $6,000 in engine work. Pick one. So that's it. 7 stages, from a faint smell on your dipstick all the way to a seized engine on the side of the road. If you're at stages 1 through 3, you can still fix this. Cheap stages 4 or 5 mean you need repairs now. And stages 6 or 7 put you in emergency territory. Remember, stage 7 gives you 48 hours at best. If you hear that deep knock, stop driving. Now, here's something most people get wrong even when they do change their oil. They do the whole process incorrectly, and that one bad habit causes just as much long-term damage as the problem we just talked about. I broke it all down in a full video. Click it on screen right now. Engine oil replacement is done wrong by most people. Here's why. Because if you're going to fix this problem, you need to make sure the fresh oil going back in is handled the right way too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in that one.